Okay, so now we're going to go into magnetic messaging and how to do the whole messaging framework, how to be magnetic. Okay, we're going to teach you the magnetism framework and how to use magnetic messaging and Facebook Messenger to bring people to the next steps. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So this is a diagram that I just made. Hopefully you kind of get it. So this explains the entire process of how you can get unlimited clients from the internet, right? You can get unlimited leads or prospects from the internet. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by just understanding that everybody that you want to talk to is already on Facebook and they are in other people's Facebook groups. Now, sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to post in other groups because we think of each group as being something like real and like definitive, but you have to understand, just like you can create Facebook groups, I probably have like 20 groups over the years, right? You can create a Facebook group too, and all the groups that are out there are just somebody else's group, and they're trying to do the same thing as you, okay? So they don't own their group, just like you don't really own your group. A group owner doesn't own the contacts of the people that are in there. Facebook owns all of it, okay? Facebook is the platform that owns all the contact information. Facebook has your email. Facebook knows about you. Facebook's got the data. The group owner doesn't own any of it. They're just borrowing it from Facebook. So you don't have to feel bad about using other groups and prospecting in those groups and pulling clients out of those groups. You don't have to feel bad about that because they don't belong to that person anyway. Technically they belong to Facebook, and they're just a person. They're just a person trying to get their needs met and have a great life. And if you're going to show up and help them to accomplish their needs, then why should anyone stop you, right? Just because other people don't like it, that's just because they want to do it. That's because they want to grow their business. Okay, so it's okay to have this healthy competition and just to understand that there's nothing wrong with serving people and meeting their needs inside a Facebook group. That's just the way that you're going to find them. You don't need ads, you don't need funnels, you don't need paid traffic, you don't need that kind of stuff. What you need is a way of communicating to people where they are right now. And instead of buying a billboard or like, an Instagram or YouTube ad, a very simple way that works, pretty much better than those ways actually, is to do it in Facebook groups. Now, why does it work better than paid ads? Because it's organic, because it's real trust, because it's relationship, because people can click on your profile and they can read about you. Right? And when people are interested in you, they can search about you. They can scroll down your profile. They can see who you are. They can see your values. They can see that you're a real person. They can see you have a family. They can see that you have this kind of accolade. They can see that you are caring and that you're empathetic. They can see your energy. They can know what you're like behind the scenes, right? It's not just like, it's not so professional, it's real. So you can foster real relationships on social media. And when you put yourself out there, people can click around and they can scope you out. And this allows them to build trust. Okay. So what you want to do is use all these things to your advantage, which means, just as I mentioned, your profile is a place for you to not just get clients, but it's a place for you to show yourself and show who you are. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use your profile and all the different types of posts. There's like, I came up with 12 today, 12 different types of posts that you can make on your profile. And, I think that we should all make all of them. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. And you want to do things that build trust, that show your humanity, that challenge your audience, that think differently, that educates them, and that just engages with them in simple ways. So there's 4 different types, and then there's 3 types of each of those 4. Okay, so I'm going to teach you all that, don't worry. But for now, let's just talk about this framework. So we're starting with other people's Facebook groups, and you're going to move them into the center of the circle, right? So you move them from other people's Facebook groups not directly to your calendar. You could, but yeah, you could, but I'm going to teach you a different way, okay? I'm going to teach you both ways. So we're going to move them to the center. So other people's Facebook groups to your profile, to your container, right? Now your container, now first of all, your profile, you're going to want to put like a cover photo, right? You know, those little cover photos, you're going to want to put one of those that is nice. It doesn't have to have words on it, but it want it to be nice, that kind of brands you in some way or explains what you do, or somehow it just makes people interested in wanting to know more, okay? So you're going to do that. Then you're going to move them in to your container. Now, your container is your Facebook group, and it's also your email list. Now, you don't have to build them both at the same time. If you're just starting out and you want to do it in a simple way, use a Facebook group. So you're going to create a Facebook community, right? Think of it like a community. Think of your group as being a movement, and also think of it as being a container. It's a container where you put ideal clients, and you don't have to know that they're a perfect client yet. You just put anyone who could be ideal inside the container of your Facebook group, and then you nurture a relationship with them over time, and you give them opportunities to respond and to come to your classes, to watch your videos, to comment, and to hop on your calendar. You're just going to give them opportunities over time. Now, here's the truth. Here's why all internet marketing uses containers, like an email list or a Facebook group. It's because the people who would buy from you eventually are a big percentage, and the people who will buy from you now are a small percentage. So let's just say out of 500 people who would buy from you eventually, there's maybe 5 people that would buy from you right now. So maybe 1%. Maybe 1% of all of them would buy from you right now. And so if you only go for the sale without creating a container, you lose track of the other 495, and you're always starting from ground zero. But if you put all 500 of those people inside your container and you give them the next steps and they hop on your calendar and you get 5 sales, now you have the other 495 inside your container still. And you can build a relationship with them over time. And then next month, maybe 5 more will buy. Then next month, maybe 5 more will buy. And you can always keep adding people to that container and taking them to the next steps. So over time, your container gets bigger, 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 right? And you're still making sales every day or every month. But over time, it gets easier, right? Over time, because your container grows, now the 1% is, instead of 1% of 500, is 1% of 1,500, right? Which is 15, or 1% of 10,000, right? Which is 100, right? Does that make sense? So over time, the container grows and you're nurturing that relationship, which means you're always getting people from the container to buy, and you're getting new people, maybe 1% of all the new people to buy, and so you're growing. Does that make sense? So eventually you're going to want an email list, because an email list is a way that you can own your contacts, right? You can download this, you can put it on your computer, you can store it, you can move that email list into different pieces of software so you can send them emails. An email and a phone number is the only reliable piece of contact information that you can have about a person, right? I suppose their address as well. So if you're sending things out in the mail, you can get people's address. But let's just say for now, we are simply going to be doing internet marketing and doing it online. Getting their phone number is good. Getting their email is very good. This is how you can build a list, build a container. Now, in the beginning, I can just speak for myself. I don't really like email. I don't really read emails. I rarely take action on things that I read from an email. So I don't spend a lot of time in my inbox. So I prefer a Facebook group because it's so easy to get started. You don't need any software. You know, you can do it today, and you can start building it today. And the relationship quality is a little bit higher. The engagement quality is higher inside a Facebook group, right? The deliverability is lower, right? Email is a better deliverability rate. Facebook group is more engagement, so the people who do see it will engage more. I like Facebook group because every time somebody engages with my posts and comments and stuff, I can click their profile, I can go look at them up, I can send them a message, and I can get the conversation started using Messenger. I love using Messenger to build rapport with people and to move them from one step to another. Okay, so as you are moving people into the center of the circle, you're going to be using what I call magnetic messaging, which are these 8 things over here on the right. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but we're also going to use Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger is just a tool that you can use to build relationships. And I suggest when you use Messenger, you get yourself into a state of being an enthusiastic, empathetic expert. Okay, whenever you're doing really anything on Facebook, but especially when you're in Messenger and when you're on a sales call, you're going to be imagining yourself as, you're going to be embodying the energy of an enthusiastic, empathetic expert. Okay, enthusiastic. You're enthusiastic. Why enthusiastic? Because when you're enthusiastic, people understand that you've got something special. They want to find out what it is. Enthusiasm gives you the excuse to reach out to anybody and start any conversation anytime. And people are going to lend you their ear and they want to know what's next. They want to know, oh, they got something special. I want to know what that is. Okay, so enthusiasm allows you the credibility to reach out, to bump into people, to be contagious, and allows people to listen a little bit more to what you got to say. Empathy means that you care about them. You care about them. You're doing this for them. You're service-based. You're heart-centered. You're not just some pushy asshole. You are an empathetic expert. You know, you care and you have utter sincerity. You're going to listen to them. Okay, you're going to ask them questions. And your whole heart is being moved and inspired during the entire process. And expert means that you know what you're doing, you're in high demand, you're in high value, you don't waste any time. An expert is somebody who doesn't waste time. Okay? And you're sharp, you see things clearly. An expert can diagnose and prescribe as well. Experts diagnose, experts prescribe, right? So keep this in mind for later. Okay? Okay, so let's keep going here now. So I was saying you're using Facebook Messenger to just create a connection with people and to move them along to the next step. The next step might be from other people's groups to your own profile, or it might be from your friends list into your own community, your own group, or it might be from your group into your masterclass or your video content, or it might be from your content into your calendar. Every step, you're going to use Facebook Messenger to move people along, and you're going to use what I'm calling magnetic messaging, which are the 8 things on the right. Now, I should change this. I'm just realizing as I'm talking here, we're going to change number 8. Instead of sell next step, we're going to call it prescribe the next step. You're going to prescribe the next step, not sell. Sell is a good word too, but I like prescribe a little bit better, okay? And if you see on the very right the bottom, we want to use curiosity, excitement, and confidence. Curiosity, excitement, and confidence are really good marketing energies. Okay, curiosity means people need to not know exactly what it is that they're going to get on the next step yet. Curiosity keeps them moving along from one step to another. And here we're talking about steps as being coming into the center of the circle, right? So people come into the center, and each time they do, they're taking the next step. And we use curiosity as one of the main factors. We're going to prescribe the next step, and we have to keep it a little bit curious. You can't tell people exactly what it is, or else maybe they don't want to come, right? Curiosity moves people along. You want to keep them curious. You want to have them being excited and confident. Okay, all 3 of those. These 3 energies are very important for marketing in general. Okay, so here are the steps again. Other people's Facebook groups, that's where they are right now, right? There's like 2 billion people on Facebook, and most of your ideal clients are going to be, they're inside other people's Facebook groups, right? This is where we're going to find them on Facebook. and you're going to move them to your own profile, which means all that really means is that you are going to be friends with them on Facebook. You get to have 5,000 friends, and everybody that's your friend has the chance to see what you post. Does that make sense? So when you post something on your own Facebook page, on your own profile, I'm using the word profile specifically because we are not going to use a business page. You do not need a business page. You are allowed to delete your business page. I give you permission to delete all your business pages because they're not going to do anything for you unless you're going to run ads. So I'm exaggerating a little bit. If you have one, don't delete it, just keep it, but don't put any energy into it right now. Don't put any energy in. It doesn't do anything. Okay, it doesn't do anything for you. The only thing it does is when you run ads, that's the page that runs the ad. For this, we're using organic messaging, organic marketing. You do not need ads. You're going to use the quality of your relationships. Every step as well, we're just building the quality of our relationship with the person more and more, stronger and stronger. They're getting more engaged. They're getting more trusting of us. The quality of that relationship gets deeper and deeper the more they come into the center. Okay? So your profile means your friends list, actually. It means your friends list. You're moving them onto your friends list, which now gives them the chance to see what you post in your profile. Okay? They're on your profile, which is also called your timeline, which for this means your friends list. Now, here's a little tip. When you send people a message, if you're friends with somebody and you send them a message, they'll see the message. If they respond back and you guys go back and forth a couple times, Facebook gets the cue that you guys are friends and they're going to see what you post on your profile. That's what you want. You want them to see what you post. So them being your friend isn't exactly the same as them seeing what you post, because for them to see what you post, you need to have a little bit of engagement with them. So that's why it's good if you send people a message and get them to respond back. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a second, don't worry. The next step is your container, which means your email list or your Facebook group. Basically, that's what it means. Also, an example could be if you had like a WhatsApp chat thread, or like a Facebook Messenger chat thread isn't very good, but you could, some kind of chat thread like Telegram or WhatsApp, that could technically, that works as a container, okay? It works. But here we're just gonna focus on mostly a Facebook group. I wanna help you to build a Facebook group, and you can also build an email list too, there's no problem, okay? So from here, you're going to put in some of your content, your video, your masterclass. Maybe you do a live webinar. I'm calling it a masterclass. That fill in the blank. A masterclass could also mean a live webinar. It could be a live workshop. It could mean a pre-recorded video that has your core content. We want to come up with content that is going to convert people into clients. Okay, your content is what's going to do that. And trust me, we talk all about that. If you paid attention in the last section on presence marketing and infrastructure, we learned how to do that. You're going to learn, and we're going to go deeper as well. So you already learned how to create a masterclass, how to create the content that converts people into buyers. So that could be in any format: pre-recorded video, webinar, workshop, live, Facebook Live, lots of different things. And all it's going to do is make people want to either buy from you right then and there, or get on the phone with you, make it a calendar appointment so that you can discuss more details about your program. Okay? Does that make sense? So just to say that again, your video masterclass, your video message, your content, all that stuff is either going to sell to them right then and there, in which case you don't actually have that center goal piece of the circle, or eventually you're going to want to, depending on the price, get people on your calendar, and you're going to sell to them on a one-on-one call. All right. So usually the price of $2,000 is the breaking point. If it's less than 2,000, you can sell directly in some kind of video format, whether it's a live workshop or webinar, or technically Facebook Live, could work for that, but you're probably going to want Zoom or something more that holds their attention a little bit stronger than Facebook Live, but it could be Facebook Live or like a pre-recorded video. Technically any kind of pre-recorded video, $2,000 or less can work. I would suggest using it for the price point of around $1,000. I suggest using it for around the $1,000 price point instead of $2,000. If you have a $1,000 offer selling via group format, video, masterclass, webinar is perfect. Okay, if your offer is $2,000 or more, you're going to want to get them on a calendar appointment. Okay, it's a one-on-one call, and you're going to probably sell them a one-to-one program, and it's going to be $2,000 or more, and that happens. And we talk about how to do that in the next section on intuitive influence. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to do all that. I hope this is clear that this is how the process goes. Now you might ask yourself the question, hey John, how come we need a container, a Facebook group, an email list? Can't I go right from my profile directly to my content and my calendar appointments? The answer is yes, you can. You don't actually need to do the middle step of a email list, Facebook group. I already explained why you do want to do that, but you can also go directly to your calendar. Now, if you do this, probably I would suggest to do what I do, which is I capture people's emails before they can make an appointment. So before somebody can make an appointment on my calendar, I do capture their email. I use a thing called ClickFunnels to capture emails and to build my web page, my website. I suggest ClickFunnels is a really good, easy program to use, but there's other ones too. Okay, so the answer is, and you guys know me, I haven't been using my own Facebook group that much at the time of filming this video, but I have used them very successfully in the past. It's a very important thing to do. When I started, it was the key for me. It was like pretty much the main key. So definitely use them. However, you can go right from your profile directly to your calendar, or from your profile directly to your video masterclass. But if you're going to do that, I do suggest capturing their email first. Okay? And there's different ways we can do that. You could even just, write it down, and then you have it at least on a list somewhere. So hope that helps. Now let's go look at the right-hand side of this. We're going to use Facebook Messenger. Messenger here means Facebook Messenger. Use Facebook Messenger and magnetic messaging to move people towards the center. So the magnetic messaging goes on other people's groups, or it goes on your profile, or it goes inside your group, or it goes within your masterclass, and it even can go within the calendar appointment app, right? You can use it within the app as well. And use Facebook Messenger just to kind of facilitate, build relationship, increase curiosity, to show yourself as an enthusiastic, empathetic expert. All right? And magnetic messaging has these 8 parts. It's got keywords. So you want to use the keywords that your audience listens to, that your audience loves, and that other people will be repelled by. Being a magnet isn't just about being attractive. Being a magnet is also about being repelling. Magnets repel just as much as they attract. Does that make sense? Magnets repel and attract at the same time. And you want to make sure that you're doing both together. So you're messaging your keywords themselves. So think about the keyword light worker, empath, healing, right? Heart-centered coach, intuitive alignment, energetic blockages, right? Shadow work, solar cycles, new moon eclipses. Like, these are keywords that some people tune into and some people tune out of, right? This word attracts people and it repels people at the same time, right? Think about your standard, somebody who's outside your audience. Somebody who's outside your audience, you want them to ignore your keyword and to think, oh, that's not for me. and you want your audience to be pulled in by your keywords. So what we need to do, and you can open up a document right now if you want, or I'll actually provide you one. I'm going to provide you one below, don't worry. A way for you to just type out all your keywords. Type out any keyword that you think your audience tunes into and that you think other people tune out of. All right? So that's that. And then desires. There's 4 types of desire. We have desires towards the things that we like. We have desires away from things that we don't like. And both of these can be internal or external. So desires towards internal happiness, desires away from internal struggle, desires towards external pleasure and good things, desires away from external hardship and bad situations, right? So you want to think about these 4 types of desires and the ones that your audience has right now. Try to articulate their 4 types of desires: towards pleasure, away from pain, internal, external. Okay, and write them down. And then we want to diagnose their problem in a new way. You are an expert. You want to diagnose their problem in a unique way that only you can solve, or diagnose their problem in a way that you are uniquely qualified to solve. So you're going to, just like at the mechanic or just like at the doctor, the expert is not just there to listen to your problem, they actually diagnose it in a unique way that only they can solve. An Ayurvedic doctor, an ear, nose, and throat specialist, a Tibetan astrologer, and a shamanic healer are all going to diagnose somebody in a completely different way, right? You go to them with some sort of pain. The ear, nose, and throat doctor, the Ayurvedic doctor, the Tibetan astrologist, the shaman, right? The Native American medicine woman, they're all going to have a unique way of diagnosing actually the problem. They diagnose it in a specialized way according to their framework, according to their understanding, and it's actually according to the unique solution that they can provide. They see the problem from the side of the solution. We want to learn to start seeing problems from the side of the solution. You are embodied in the solution that your audience wants, and you need to learn a framework where we can diagnose their problem from the perspective of a simple solution that they can take. From the perspective of a solution that you are uniquely qualified to deliver, or that you are uniquely positioned to administer, to prescribe. Does that make sense? So don't worry, we're going to go back into this in a second. Then you're going to give them, you're going to tell them your story. Now, the first 3 kind of are like part of the hook. This is in the overall framework of hook, story, offer. This is all part of the hook. You're going to hook them in this way with the first 3. Okay, and then your story breaks the tension and goes into blah, blah, blah. I was just like you, and then I discovered this one unique magic key, and now I experienced the results that you desire. I was just like you, and it's just like you. I found my way to this unique magic key, this one key, and now I experience the results that you desire. That's your story. And then you're going to talk about, here's the magic key. Here's what it is. It's this. And your magic key is something special that only you can provide, that your audience doesn't really have the chance to get anywhere else, and that none of your competition are really talking about. So your magic key is also your kind of container. It's your blue ocean. It's your blue ocean niche. It's your unique category of business. You're creating your own category of business. I always help my clients to build their unique key, their special key, okay, their magic key. And we need to position it in the market so that you're pretty much the only one doing it, and that you're talking about it in a unique way, okay? So that's the magic key. For example, I do presence marketing, and that's a unique phrasing that I came up with, and it works, but no one else is talking about it. Or Russell Brunson does funnels, right? If you want a funnel, you go to him because he's the funnel man, right? And he helps people to diagnose their problem in that, oh, you don't have a funnel yet. That's why it doesn't work. Here, all you need is a funnel, right? I say to people, oh, you're not doing presence marketing yet. That's why it's not working. All you need is presence marketing, okay? And so you can have your own magic key. Then you give a step-by-step. it's good to teach people step-by-steps occasionally. Now, you're not always going to do this. If you're doing a very short post, you can't obviously include all 8 of these, right? You're not going to really be doing all of them, but you can do some of them, right? So step-by-step, sometimes you're going to teach your audience, here's a few steps to go from where you are to where you want to be. Here's how I went from where I was to where I am now. And here's how you can do it too. Boom, first you do this, then this. You give them step-by-steps, okay? You make some promises. You need to make at least one promise. You know, it can be implied, but you're gonna essentially make them a big promise. Like, I can virtually guarantee. Virtually kind of saves you from making it kind of tying it down too much. Like, I'm pretty much guarantee, I virtually guarantee that we can get you there, right? And sometimes you just imply your promise by telling testimonials. My client did this and this, and I guarantee I can help you just like I helped them, right? So you just make them some sort of promise, and then you prescribe the next step. All right, so now let's go into the next piece that I wanted to share with you. Let's go into that right now. Here we go. Okay. Magnetic messaging, I just went into this. Now, you're going to make a post in a Facebook group. Here's the whole process. Right, I'm giving you all my secrets right now. And I can help you go through it a little bit slower in a second, but the overall strategy is you're going to use a Facebook group. Now, I've made a list of my groups. Okay. These are a bunch of different groups. These are like, there's like over 20 groups here. There's over 20 groups here. And they're all clickable links. So you want to make your own list of like this, at least 10 or so clickable links that are Facebook groups. Okay, you just click and boom, you go over there. It just takes you right to the group. The reason why you want it on this list is because it's very easy for you. Plus, it allows you to outsource it and give it to a virtual assistant who can do this for you at some point. All right, then you're going to make posts in the groups like this. Lightworkers, how many of you are growing a business based on your unique gifts and talents? That's one post. And you put it in a little colored box. Do you think the inner work is at least partially responsible for business growth? Magnetism tribe, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to go into this in a second. Okay, so you're going to make a list of posts just like this, where you write out a little short snippy things. And again, I'll teach you how to do that in more detail at a different time. But essentially right now you can just think, sometimes you're going to share controversial truths. Sometimes you're going to share the answer to frequently asked questions. Sometimes you're going to ask very engaging questions. Sometimes you're going to just speak to their desires. Sometimes you're going to tell a little story, which could be like a celebration post about a win that you had or a win that your client had. Sometimes you're just going to share something that you know your ideal client will respond to and answer yes to. Essentially, that's sometimes what you do when you're moving them from other people's groups onto your own profile. You're mostly just getting your ideal clients to raise their hand. You're not really allowed to do marketing inside those groups. You're not really allowed to like sell or anything like that, but you can get your ideal clients to raise their hand. And when they do, here's what you're going to do. You're going to, when you make a post in other people's Facebook groups, you're going to try to get comments. You're not going to really go for, talking about your offer or selling anything yet. You can't do that yet. You can only kind of get your ideal client to raise their hand. So you're going to elicit comments, and everybody who comments, what you want is you want ideal clients to comment. You don't really want people who are not ideal clients to comment. So you're going to phrase your questions as I did. You can see here, light workers, right? Why would anyone else read the rest of that post if they're not a light worker, right? So light workers, are you obsessed with masculine strategy? When will you, blah, blah, blah. So that's trying to get them to identify themselves as like I'm a light worker and I don't just want strategy for business. I want something beyond simply strategy. So you see how like I'm really getting clear about my actual person. Again, I'll show you how to do this in more detail in a moment. But for now, you just think of it like this. Your unique gifts and talents are what the world needs. Why don't you step up and share them? I'm trying to get my ideal client to respond here. Spiritual people have a different way of creating success. It must be aligned or they won't move forward. Who here knows what I'm talking about? This is a pretty good post. This one's worked very well for me. Spiritual people have a different way of creating success. That's a unique statement. I'm putting in a unique insight that I have into words. It must be aligned or they won't move forward. Now, alignment is part of my brand. I'm uniquely qualified to help people to build an aligned business. I can help people to align themselves, and I especially help them to build a business based on alignment. That's what I do. Does that make sense? So I'm talking about the things that my brand is associated with. So you need to find the things that your brand does, the things that your brand is uniquely qualified to do, whatever you help with. And you're going to talk about those things in a way where it might even sound a little bit controversial, but essentially you're just putting forth a perspective that is sort of required for a person to want to work with you. And the people who agree with this perspective are basically saying, yes, I see it your way too. I'd like to learn more. I'm an ideal client. They're kind of saying, I'm an ideal client. Now, the reason I put this part, who here knows what I'm talking about? I wrote that specifically because it elicits a comment, right? If I didn't say that, it's just a nice thing, but people may just ignore it. But the fact that I write this, and now someone who really resonates, they're gonna take the extra energy to be like, yes, 100%, woohoo, me, right? They're gonna take a little extra energy and comment. And comments are how you go viral on Facebook. Getting more comments is the way that you go viral. I'll say it again. Getting more comments is the way that you go viral. And if you want to go viral, you have to get more comments. And when you get comments from people, Facebook shows it to people who are like the people who just commented. I'll say that again too. Facebook shows your post to people who are similar to the ones who have commented. Facebook knows who everybody is. They know who you are, and they know who's similar to you. When you run ads, you can do what's called lookalike audiences, where you can show your ad to, if you get like 1,000 video views, you can show your ad to 1,000,000 people who are like the original 1,000. Facebook knows who everybody is. They know who's like who everybody else is. So when you get comments from, if like, let's just say your post is towards light workers and only light workers type people are responding and they're commenting, Facebook's going to show it to people who are like them, which is good for you, which means that your reach isn't wasted on people who are not in your audience. Your reach is going specifically to only people in your audience. And then when they comment, they're raising their hand and saying, yes, me, I'm a lead. I want to learn more. I'm an ideal client. Give me more stuff. Like, tell me more. They're basically saying that when they comment. Okay, and then you're going to do these 4 things. You're going to give it a heart. A heart is like a like, right? The like is the thumbs up. A heart is the next step. You're moving your relationship forward by giving them a heart instead of a like. A like, the algorithm anymore doesn't really do much for likes. A like is like the least amount of energy required. It's like that. A heart takes extra energy. You have to move it over to the heart. It requires more commitment to give a heart, and the algorithm prefers it. So give them a heart, comment something inspiring and memorable. Just comment something in general, but ideally it's a comment something inspirable and memorable. And also it's going to be elicit another response. Or open a loop by asking a question. I'm gonna change this. Prescribe. Sell, the next step. Comment something inspiring and memorable elicit another response, essentially, or open the loop. Open the loop. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Don't just end it right there. Keep it open, keep it going. And usually questions are how you can open loops many times. Okay? Friend request them. Boom, just friend request them. Who cares? Just do it. And the next day, don't do this yet. Come back to your post. Do the first 3, A, B, and C, for everybody who comments. And then the next day, go into the Facebook group, search your own name, go to the same Facebook group that you were in, or any Facebook group at all, really. Search your own name in the groups, and then you can find all your posts, including this most recent post. And then you're going to message everybody who has accepted your friend request. Don't message them if they didn't accept your friend request, because they won't even see it. It goes in the filtered folder. It goes in that spam message request folder. You probably, if you don't know, you probably have over 100 messages in your own folder. And Facebook puts them there because mostly they're just people trying to sell to you, right? So we don't want to be like that. We want to be a personal person. We want to be very personable. So you're going to only send them a message if they have accepted your friend request, because they won't normally see it otherwise. Okay. Okay, so you're going to do that, and when you send them a message, you're just going to say hi. Generally, messenger scripts I'm finding very difficult to write, because we want to make sure that we're connecting as a real human. When I used to do this process myself, lately I've been outsourcing all this to my virtual assistants. Okay, that works fine, but I used to have a lot of good results doing this myself. And whenever I did Messenger, I never did Messenger scripts. I never tried to sell people in Messenger. I didn't use it that way. I only used it to connect. I used it simply just to connect with people as a real person. Okay. And I asked, if you really want to take the people to the next step, okay, in that case, ask them some questions about themselves, and you can share about yourself the way that an enthusiastic, empathetic expert would. Guess what experts do? Experts don't waste time. So I say that below here. Remember, an expert values his or her own time. You can be kind without rambling. So when I say ramble, like, okay, make a real connection with them, build rapport, but then after you've done that, you need to remember you're an expert, and experts value their own time. It's okay. Experts are allowed to reach out and talk to people. You don't have to be cold and in some kind of ivory tower just because you're an expert. If you're an enthusiastic expert, it gives you permission to talk to anybody about anything. Okay, or especially about your topic. You talk to them about the thing that you're enthusiastic about, which is your line of work, right? So that's good. And an expert is somebody who has knowledge and value. Experts hold within them the keys for what the person wants. You have experiences and results. An expert essentially is someone with an experience. An expert has experience of their topic, right? And you have more experience. If you're an expert in the eyes of your potential client, that means you have more experience than them. Something that helped me a lot, I used to have these like rose-colored glasses where I just saw the goodness in everybody, and I still do to a large extent. I just see the goodness in everybody, and I used to think that other people, they don't need what I have, or they have something going on in their own lives better than what I have, and they don't really need what I have to offer. And I've started to learn that wasn't true, right? And that actually people do have problems. People do need my help. People's experience of my area of expertise is less than mine in some cases. And so when you're talking to people, just remember that you actually are an expert, that compared to them, you really are. You've spent years, maybe decades, cultivating your experience in this topic. Don't just assume that everybody knows as much as you. Don't assume that they're at your level. They're not at your level. They might be at your level or beyond your level at certain things, but they're not beyond your level at your specific area of expertise. Okay, so just give yourself a little credit and remember that you've got something special. You've got something special. That's what an enthusiastic expert has. They have something special and they have the keys for somebody else to have it too, right? And you're empathetic, you're doing it for them, you care. That gives you permission to do anything you want, okay? Good. Now, if you really want to use Messenger to qualify people and to grow your business, you're going to ask them qualifying questions. I usually wait and I do that mostly in my calendar app, like Calendly, but you can do it in Messenger too. You ask them a question, you're trying to get them to qualify themselves to say, I need what you've got. I've got this problem and I want to solve it. Essentially, that's what qualifying questions are. They're like, I have a problem. I have the problem that you can help with. I want to solve this problem. Yes, I'm interested in working with you. Yes, I can afford services such as this. That's kind of what qualifying questions do. You can do more with them, but we'll go into that later. And then remember to value your own time. An expert values their time. If you value your time more than the person you're talking to values their own time, you will be considered an expert in their eyes. Trust me, this is one of the main ways to be an expert, is to value your time more than everybody else. If you value your own time more than whoever you're talking to values their own time, they're going to realize that you have something special and that they need your help, basically. Okay? So you're going to do that here on this form, and just below this video, I'm going to link this form. Don't worry, I'm sure it's there. Magnetic messaging. The reason that you're going to put in your email is that you will automatically receive all your own answers in email. So you type this in, and you're going to get an email with all these answers so that you can use them and that you have them for yourself. Okay? And I have what's your name, because if we go over this on a call, on a one-to-one call or in my groups, I need to know your name so that I can find your submission. Okay? So what keywords? So essentially, I'm going to bring you through the 8 pieces here. What keywords do your audience use and understand? What keywords does your audience use and understand that most other people wouldn't know, like or trust, right? Light worker, empathetic, shadow work, multidimensional mindset mastery, whatever. You know, these are keywords that your audience cares about, that other people don't care about, or they ignore, or that it repels them. Your audience is going to love these keywords, and they might even identify with these keywords. Finding ways to, the most powerful keywords are identifiers. Light worker, healer, empath, starseed, you know, things like this. You know, heart-centered coach, things that people identify with as being like an identity, like, oh, that's me. Okay. What desires do they have? Tell me about their desires towards pleasure and away from pain, both internally and externally. Okay, there's 4 types. How can you diagnose their problem in a unique way that only you can solve, or that you're uniquely positioned to solve? Just like the ear, nose, and throat specialist will diagnose your problem in their specific way, according to their specific framework that they can help you with. It's important to understand the diagnosis is part of the solution. The diagnosis is from the perspective of the problem being solved already. We diagnose a problem, a real expert diagnoses a problem from the side of the problem being solved, from the side of the solution, from a lens that includes a solution in the diagnosis. You need to learn to diagnose problems with a lens that includes a unique solution that you are qualified to deliver. And you diagnose in that way. Just like in my own marketing, I tell people there's 5 different types of non-presence marketing. There's, you know, woke but broke, which is just presence. There's hiding in your room or at your 9 to 5, which is no presence and no marketing. There's hiding behind technology, which is just marketing but no presence, and so on. So I diagnose people's problems in a way where I have the solution. All 5 of these mistakes have one single solution, which is my unique key, my magic key, presence marketing. So you can learn to diagnose problems as being simply the absence of your special solution. All right. Tell me the relevant portions of your story that mention your credentials, your results, your relatability, and which is I was just like you, basically, and your unique method or magic key that you use to solve it. So there's a whole video class. There's 2 classes on story that I want you to watch. They're really, really good. Go watch them now, okay, or later. But essentially the story is I was just like you, then I found this magic key, and now I experience the results that you desire, And you want it to be relatable, and you want it to have your credentials. Any credentials or humble brags that you can weave in there, do that. Your results are also your credentials, not just the letters next to your name, but use those too. Any kind of, one of my clients was a colleague of Tony Robbins, technically, and so we say that. And so kind of position yourself with the best thing that you can do in your own story. All right, and what is the magic key that you use to go from the problems and desires that your audience are having to the results that they desire, the results that you have now? Make sure it feels like one thing and not multiple things. Some people say, oh, the magic key. For me, it was this, 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 and this. Oh, no, that's 4 things. A key is one thing. A unique method is one thing. You want it to be one movement. Of course, there's going to be follow-up steps, right? Presence marketing is not just, it is one thing, isn't it? Presence marketing is one thing. But when you practice it, there's multiple things that you need to do when you're using it. So, right, and so here, talk about your one thing as being one thing. It's a magic key, is one thing, right? It feels like one thing is not multiple things. And also that is not common in the market, but that it sounds cool, and also that people can get it. They can get it, they can understand it without a very difficult explanation. So presence marketing is where you infuse presence within your marketing and marketing within your presence, so that when you show up online, people are magnetized to you and want to work with you. You kind of get it, right? Everybody gets it, but you can't do it without help. People who hear that in my audience are people who need help with marketing, especially. And so I tell them this, but they still need my help. But now they kind of want my help even more. Does that make sense? So you want your magic key to make people feel like they still need your help. After you tell them, they're like, oh, I get it. Oh, but I still need your help now to really have that key. I don't have that key yet. I need to buy your solution in order to really have that key, right? And that it's also, but they can understand it, but it's unique. It's not like everybody's talking about this. It has got to be specialized. What step-by-step solutions can your audience use to go from where they are to where they want to be once they have the magic key in their hand? Hint, what steps did you use? Right, so what steps? Get aligned, build the infrastructure, be magnetic, intuitive influence, expand. Those are some of my steps. Okay, but in all my different businesses, I always teach a step-by-step. You can give people your framework, right? In one, it was like, get in the spiritual groove. Get in the spiritual groove. Oh, how do you do that? Well, here's the 11 steps. Appreciation, acceptance, overcoming micro addictions, humility, truth. Those are some of the steps. I gave people 11 different steps. Okay. You can give people 11 steps. These are pieces of a framework. They can't really do them without your magic key or without your program. Okay, so they're educational, but they kind of require your program or your magic key in order to actually implement. So, but we need to educate people anyway. Even if they can't do it yet, we still have to educate them so that they can be confident. about what our program will be like on the inside once they join. Okay, and also it inspires them. Sometimes the steps are meant to inspire people that they can do it too. Oh, these are not that hard. Oh, I could do this. I could do this. This is not that bad. Oh, that looks good. I kind of want to do that. You want your steps to feel comfortable for them. Okay, what are some promises you can make? What are some promises you can almost virtually make? Tell me some testimonials that prove your point and that imply results. A promise isn't always like, I promise you this. It just feels like you're promising. It feels like you're guaranteeing. It feels like you're almost guaranteeing. It feels like you're this close to saying, definitely this will happen for you. It's a promise. Business is actually all about promises. Pretty much all a business is making promises and following through, if you think about it. You make somebody a promise and they pay you money based on your promise, actually. And then your business is all about you following through and delivering on your promise. And if you do that well, you'll develop a very good reputation in your business. And if you don't do that well, you will not develop a good reputation and it will be hard for you to grow your business. So making promises and following through well is pretty much all business is. And I want to tell you there's something special about this. If you always tell the truth, and if you always follow through on your promises, you will create an energy, an aura, a karma, where people believe you when you make promises, and they're willing to take it on faith. I have a particular coach who I've bought multiple programs of his, and they've helped me a lot. In fact, the first money I ever made online was through a digital course that I bought from somebody. And he just, for some reason, he has this energy where when he makes a promise and when he doesn't like hold your hand, he doesn't like coddle you that much, but he kind of positions his offer as like, kind of like he's making a promise. And for whatever reason, you just kind of believe him. For whatever reason, you just kind of believe him. And then it works. His programs work. And then you believe him more. All right. So for you, just think of it like that. When you have the energy of always making promises and following through in your regular life, just take that as a challenge right now, that you're going to make promises and you're going to follow through in everyday life, whether they're to yourself or to others. Okay. And just try to always keep your word and never lie about anything. If you do this, you will create a karma, energy, aura, where people believe what you say and they're willing to take it on faith that you're trustworthy. I promise you, this is the truth. I promise. This is the truth. If you do this, people will believe you and they're going to want to take your word for it. People tell me, oh, John, you're really good with words. Okay, yeah, I'm good with words, but I also have an energy of telling the truth, and people believe me what I say. People believe what I say because I'm used to using my speech for creating harmony, happiness, and good things. I use my speech to bring people together. I use my speech to help people and inspire people. I never use my speech to harm anybody. My speech is like nectar. I've used my spiritual practice to transform my speech into nectar, right? As not, literal nectar, but like close to nectar. And so people believe me. People like, oh, John, you're good with words. Oh, yeah, okay, I am. But also people believe what I say because I use my speech extremely mindfully and carefully and beneficially. And if you do the same, you'll have a similar impact where your words will matter. Your words will be precise. My words are very precise. They're very essential. I don't waste my words, right? And if you do the same, you're gonna develop a similar power with words where you can say things in a few number of powerful words and that people believe what you say and they really feel the energy that is beneficial and they will trust you. And then they're gonna be willing to take the next steps. When you make promises and you're always following through on your promises, you're going to be mindful, first of all, about the promises that you do make, because you're going to want to make sure you can do them. But there's going to be an energy there where people get it and they believe you. And they're going to take the trust. They're going to take that leap of faith and go with you. If you want your clients to take that leap of faith and to move with you, you have to be used to using your words to always deliver high quality value, and you never let people down with your words. You always follow through with your promises. You never lie or deceive people. This is extremely important in your business. It's pretty much all businesses, actually, making promises, following through. Okay, so the next step, prescribe the next step. How can you build the value of whatever it is, right? So whether it's a phone call, sometimes the next step is, hey, let's set up a call. Sometimes it's, hey, watch this video. Sometimes it's, hey, join my group. Sometimes it's, hey, I just want to, can I ask you a question? Sometimes the next step is just a question. Whatever the next step is, you need to sell the next step by getting people excited and curious and confident about it, excited and curious about the next step. And sometimes it's prescribing. Oh, let's set up a call so I can learn more about what you do and see if I can help you. Hey, join my group, watch this video because this video has the answers that you need. You're prescribing the next step. Join this community because there's light workers in here who are just like you and we're all working together to solve this problem. You're prescribing the next step. Okay, sometimes sometimes this is about eliciting a response, right? So you're just getting comments. You're trying to get comments on your posts. Sometimes that's selling the next step means getting a comment. Inspire action. Inspire them to click the link and go watch the video or join the email list or whatever. You're going to inspire action. What invitation can you make? Hey, schedule a call. Click here, schedule a call because I want to learn more to see if I can help you. It's an invitation. I'm giving you a free 15-minute reading on this call. It's an invitation. It's a value. It's a prescription. And what value does the next step have to offer for them? All right, and now when you read a post, just make sure that you are excited and you are curious and you are confident and that you are inspiring excitement, curiosity, and confidence, because this is what will move people from step to step to step to step. All right, so I hope you enjoy. Hope this was fun for you. Hope this was interesting for you. Hope you learned a lot. And I'll see you in the next video. So go fill out this form right now, and then I will get your answers. Ask me about it specifically, and we can go over it on your call. And I'll see you in the next video.